Here's something I don't do very often, but it may be perfect for a Halloween or a horror party. We're going to change the eyes to a glossy, undead, evil look. The first thing we need is a mask of the eye area. You can use the pen tool and draw the mask, but in this video I'm just going to use a pixel layer in Erase Blend mode and paint the eye area with a brush from which I will create the mask later. Okay, this looks good for now. To create the effect, I will be using a couple of pixel layers. As I don't want to mask each layer individually, I will create a group with the first pixel layer. I can now mask the group, so everything in the group will be masked automatically. Let me make a mask from the pixel layer we created earlier. Important is to make sure to set its blend mode to normal. This will allow me to Command or Control click on the layer to make a selection. With the selection active, I can now go to the group layer and press the mask icon. This will create a mask with the active selection, which is the eye area we just painted. Perfect. I don't need this layer again, so let's remove that. Time to start working on the effect. The idea is to fill the eye area with layers of bright colors matching the iris and the pupil. Let's make sure the pixel layer in the group is selected and select our brush. The brush flow should be low and the hardness 0%. Then, with the color picker option from the color panel, we're going to sample a bright color from the eye. Now that we have sampled our color, let's select it. I'm going to increase the brush size using the bracket keys until it overlaps the iris and just tap a couple of times with the brush. Because we have a low flow brush, the paint effect will be increased with each tap. Now let me make the brush a bit bigger so it will cover the complete eye and tap again. I will apply the same for the right eye, tap a couple of times on the whole eye area and tap a couple of times around the iris area. We're going to repeat the same process with a slightly lighter color, but only to the iris area. I will use the color wheel to increase the brightness of the current color. Now, if you want, you can add a new pixel layer, but I'm just going to continue on the same pixel layer. Let's resize the brush size so it is about the same size as the iris and tap a couple of times. After doing this with both eyes, I will make the brush smaller again to fit the size of the pupil and tap again a few times on the pupil area. We are already getting that glossy undead look, but let's continue with adding the catch lights. For this, I'm going to increase the hardness of the brush and increase the flow to around 70%. Let's add a new pixel layer for the catch lights and tap where the catch lights should be. For a touch of extra depth, I will add an additional small catch light next to the bigger one. To create even more depth, I'm also going to add some shadow to the top part of the eye. After creating a new pixel layer, I will make the color darker and adjust the brush so that we have a soft flow brush again. I will gently brush in some shadows to the top area. As the layers we are using are masked by the group mask, this whole process was quite easy to do. This looks pretty amazing already, but the cherry on the pie is when we apply an effect to this group. Let's tap on the Effects button and open up the Effects dialog. Enable Auto Glow and change the blend mode to Multiply. When we change the color to black, we effectively have created a glow shadow. Does that even make sense? Anyway, now time to increase the radius. That looks pretty cool. After fine-tuning the radius and the intensity, we get a pretty amazing end result. I also like to have some black shadow around the eye area. This will blend the effect of the eyes with the rest of the face in a more horrific style. You can achieve this in a couple of ways, but this time I will use the Effects panel and use the Outer Glow again. I'm going to add a rectangle covering the eyes, make it white and set the blend mode to Multiply. This will make it invisible. Another option could have been to change the fill percentage to 0%. Let's now duplicate the eye mask and apply this to the rectangle we just created. With the mask rectangle selected, I can open up the Effects dialog again and apply the Outer Glow effect. With a little bit of fine-tuning, there we have it. Glossy horror eyes. If you want, you can modify the look to a dark version by applying some additional adjustment and changing the blend modes and blend ranges. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a part 2 where I explain in more detail how to change this to the dark version. Thanks again for tuning in. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you found this video interesting. Until the next video.